Hey, everybody, welcome back. This is another amazing show. This is Real Estate Uncensored. We have incredible guest, Victor. He is going to rock your world when it comes to land acquisition. What you can do, what you can't do, what you should be doing, what you aren't doing right now. Do not fall in the trap. He's going to help you out of that trap. It's like a bear trap that you never want to step in. Now, Gene Volpe is here with us as well. He's as bald as ever. I love this man to pieces. But before I get him back on the show, here's our intro. All right, I seriously dance on my own damn fucking intro music. I really do, and I clap at number 10. I do it every stinking time. Guys and gals, I really want you guys to tune in really closely on this one because this is something you have never really heard us talking about, land acquisition, how you can really kind of divert away from doing residential resale. There's a niche, a very quiet niche where you guys can get in, make a lot of money, have a lot of fun. Our good friend, Mr. Victor Reynolds, who's going to be a part of our show today. He is crushing it in the land sector. We're going to bring him in a second. Gene Volpe, the evil bald ninja. How are you, brother?
Couple things. Were you just about to call him Ryan Reynolds?
Yeah, I did. I almost did that. Yeah.
I thought that was going to happen.
Yeah, that almost happened.
Second,
I tried to correct it. Why do you got to be an asshole on air?
Listen, this is where I'm coming in today. Why are you playing the intro on a Friday?
Shut the fuck up and just go with it.
We never do intros on a Friday.
So, Gene, so glad to see you. So sorry to see you leave. Okay. Yeah, we're back to Victor. All
right. He does that to me once a week. I will tell you that I'm glad we're back to the guest format because I am so sick and damn tired of listening to your voice for 40 minutes. Back and forth. Wah, wah, wah. So now Victor's here and I feel good about it.
See, Victor, you saved the show. So, Victor, tell everybody about who you are, where you're from, what you do, what you're going to bring value, because I know you're going to drop hammer.
All right. Well, appreciate being on here. Thank you guys for the warm introduction. I'm glad Gene didn't get kicked off permanently, so that's always a good thing. So, there he goes again. So, yeah, my name is Victor Reynolds. As I said, I am a land investor. I basically buy vacant parcels of land of various sizes and shapes, zoning and all that. And I flip them. Sometimes I hold them for a long term, but most times I try to get rid of them. And pretty much all the property I've never, ever seen. I do it all online remotely and I do it for just a few hours a day and that's it.
So walk me through that a little bit. I mean, everybody wants to have that 4-hour work week, right? So when you're buying land, what are you looking for?
Well, for me, I first look at how much do I have to invest. Now, when I first got started in this, 2016, 2017, I had a couple $100. So that would dictate to more of what they call the desert square. So there's all these desert lots in like Nevada, Arizona, New Mexico, where you literally can buy property for a couple $100. Maybe not on market, but if you talk to people off market, yeah, you can actually say, hey, I'll give you $100 for your property. And they're like, I've had this for 20 years. I've never done anything with it. Take it. Or I owe a bunch of, it happens all the time. Or they owe some back taxes. And the back taxes isn't like in the thousands. It's like, I owe like $500 in back taxes. This property's not worth much. I don't even know where it is. You can have it for free. Just take care of the taxes.
Wait, hold on. So you're telling me that somebody who owns a property, for round numbers, let's say it's $100,000 property, right? Mm-hmm. And you're like, dude, you owe $100 in back taxes. I'll pay that. Just sign it over to me. Is that kind of how you operate on this?
Yeah, I mean, like $100,000. The taxes need to be a little higher for them to be that motivated, but that's the general idea.
Again, round numbers.
Right.
Making shit up as I go here.
Got it.
Because I mean, if you can give us a real world scenario here, if you want to,
Sure.
A lot of folks, I mean, we all look at land. We can go down to the county commissioner, we can go down to the county land acquisition, form boards, and talk to them and see kind of what they're looking for, like in different zones, where the growth patterns are. I mean, how do you get this information and how do you spin it out?
Well, I mean, it's all public knowledge. So what happens is, if I see an area that I like, I can go into what I like about an area. I would then use their public, county websites, like the assessor site, their GIS site, whatever it is, and then make a list of all the people who actually own vacant land. Now, if you have a little money, maybe you have a subscription to PropStream or Data Tree or List Source or one of those, then you can just filter for just vacant land. And then once I do that, I just make sure I'm finding people who don't live in the area, so they're not using it. And then I contact them in a variety of ways: mail, text, phone calls, carrier pigeon, whatever it is. And then just work out a deal with it.
Let's back you up a second. You said PropStream, and what were the other two? Because that's a valuable little nugget right there. I love that.
PropStream, Data Tree. Data Tree is a lot more expensive, but it's a software by First American. It can do a lot. Nice. Yeah, you can do a title search on there. I mean, you got to pay for these things. It's not like just a one price fits all the way PropStream is. But yeah, so that one, List Source, I haven't used that one personally, but I know others who have. But we're just getting a list of prospects. Hey, you own vacant land, you don't live near it, so I bet you're not using it. Why don't you sell that to me for the price that I like, and I'll take care of everything, and you just get paid and you're done. And a lot of people like that proposition, because you don't have to deal with the selling process and going with the realtors and all. It's just, oh, you'll take it. I don't got to do any work. I just got to sign a deed. Done. Makes it real simple for them.
And the people really do that.
Oh, absolutely. 100%.
No
all the time.
Kidding. So are we talking about like $10 properties or $1 million properties?
Both.
Seriously?
Both. Yep. Now the $1 million properties, it's going to be a little bit more schmoozing going on. You're going to have to understand how to add value with these properties, because you have like a $10 property, they're just glad to be rid of it, right? And even though it's $10 in their eyes, in reality, you could probably sell it for a couple of $1,000. So it's a good ROI in that return, or that sense. But when you have like these $1 million properties, many acres, 300-400 acres, whatever it is, yeah, you can probably sell it to somebody else, but the real value comes in subdividing that. So now it's more accessible. But to subdivide, you'll probably have to, it just depends on the county and what their rules are. You might have to bring a road in or two and go through the different county planning things. But in general, you'll probably take that 1 million, turn it into 2 million in less than a year. And it could be even more depending on just how you feel like selling it. You don't have to sell it all in cash. You can sell it off in terms. Sell the term to a note buyer, or just keep collecting the monthly payments. You can develop it further yourself. You can lease the land to other people. I mean, there's a lot of options because you're the owner of the property.
Well, what you're saying right now is a very in-depth part of what you do. So when you say on terms, describe what terms mean, so the folks that are listening, watching, everything else understand that verbiage, because it was confusing to me when I first learned about it. And I've tried to teach Gene about it multiple times. He just doesn't pay attention to me, and I really feel bad for him.
Oh, my boy, Gene. Don't worry. I got your back, Gene. So terms is just a term that we use.
He's nodding his head, just shaking it, just like, you motherfuckers.
So terms is a term. You like how I did that?
I like term as a term. Okay.
The term we use.
Good job.
Is basically saying, hey, you can pay this off by owner financing. You're going to pay me a down payment and a monthly payment until you pay this off. And if you don't pay me or you disappear, I keep whatever you pay me and I sell it to somebody else. If you do, once it's fully paid off, I will deed the property over to you.
So you keep all the equity.
100%.
That's a phenomenal opportunity. How do people get involved in that? I mean, it sounds a little sketchy, because I mean, I'm not hitting on, I mean, I know how this works, so I'm just trying to play the devil's advocate at this point, right?
Of course.
It sounds sketchy. Shut up, Gene, motherfucker.
Listen, hold on. Save that question.
Asshole.
Save that question. I want you to. So Victor, just so we're clear, right? And so the listeners are clear. I'm usually, so what happens is when we start the show, he puts the title in, he launches it, and I'm always behind the scenes. Like, I share it throughout all the networks we're in, right? Mm-hmm. And we always joke that he always makes a spelling error.
Shut up.
Listen to me. This is the title of the show. How to kill it in land with no toliets, termitest, or tenetes. that's what
Good.
Hey, I don't know about you, but I just came from using my toilet, so I don't know.
Well, that's because you're making
What
all
are
that
you
money in
talking
land
about? Like,
acquisition.
what's
You got
going there?
You got fancy stuff over there in Fresno. I get it.
No, I'm not in Fresno. I'm in San Francisco.
Oh, you're in San Fran?
No, he actually lives in one of the neighborhoods I used to live in as well. Jackie had a property literally around the corner from him. So that's how he and I became BFFs, and
That's right.
why he's on the show right now.
Very nice.
Talking about it. And thank you, Gene, for pointing out my
Oh my
dyslexia. And I really appreciate you.
Listen,
That's
that's
not cool, Gene. It's not cool, man.
Not cool. Not cool.
I don't care if it's cool. That was funny as hell. I mean, there are 3 words there that are just not even close. That's your best work to date, Greg.
Got it. That's pretty funny. But yeah,
I know. I'm
I
sorry.
use my toilet all the time. It's all good.
See,
There's going to be a murder
what
taking
was the original
place in
question now?
Philadelphia, and it's going to be happening on December 10th. We don't know who the victim is, but he might be bald, and there's a goatee he wears, and he works out of his basement. So if there's a death, don't blame me. All
Sounds like
right,
a
thank you,
troll.
Clintons.
sounds like a
All
troll.
right, let's get back to the fucking topic at
I'm
hand.
sorry.
You
I
fucking
am
shit
sorry.
stain.
I know I threw it for a loop. I'm sorry.
You fucking dick.
I'm sorry.
All right, and Victor, I said I wouldn't say fuck, but I keep saying fuck.
We said it like 14 times already. We might as well just keep rolling with it.
Well, he's a dick. All right. Let's go back to the story where you're talking about.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I forgot
No,
where
you're
was
not.
I? We were talking about toilet yachts and.
Oh, shut up, you two.
Here,
Both
why-
of you idiots now.
Well, look, I have some questions. I actually have some questions.
Yeah,
So,
go ahead. Go for it.
is there a specific characteristics of the lots that you look for?
Hate you.
Location, size, grade. Yeah, are you looking at tax liens? Are you looking at like what are some of the things that you are if you went online to one of these sites that you were talking about where you go, oh yeah, these 3, I'm getting them right now. Is there anything that you pull out or you don't care? You just pick it up?
It depends on my budget. So if I'm dealing with a smaller budget, then it's like, give me whatever I can take. As long as I can afford it and it's usable, I'll take it. And what I mean by usable, normally those lower dollar lots are what we call infill lots. So if somebody came and subdivided the property, they were going to make the next greatest, best neighborhood, and they just did it, right? So you got all these lots that are plotted out, but there's no roads, or the roads used to exist and they disintegrated or overgrown, whatever. So those are the lots that you can get for super cheap. And I'll just take whatever. Again, as long as the county will let me, or not me, whoever I sell it to, build on it or use it for whatever they want, then I know it's good, right? So you kind of know what your buyers are going to want. When I want something a little bit more high end, a little bit more lucrative, now I'm being a little bit more discerning. So I'm looking at not just the location, which is always important, the shape of the parcel, the actual size of it, the accessibility of it. How close is it to something that's like a nice landmark, as there like a nice international airport, 90 minutes from an international airport, a lot of land investors go by. And is it something that people will want? So usually if it's around like 90 minutes from an international airport, you're by a big place where a lot of people will know. I also like the places that are close to like natural scenery. So like say the Grand Canyon, I'm not saying get something right next to the Grand Canyon, but like, hey, you're not far from the Grand Canyon. People know where that is, or at least they have an idea of where it is. And it kind of fills their mind. Oh, well, if I have something there, I can build a cabin, or I can camp on it and visit the Grand Canyon, or put my camper on it, something like that. It's a selling.
Mm-hmm.
So at the end of the day, I'm just thinking about what will the price point be, and what person or persons will want that property for that price point. And I just get something that will fit within those lines.
So how do you understand the demographics of the geolocation of the potential land acquisition?
Well, I mean, part of it is just experience from doing this for a while. But like if you're starting from scratch, a lot of times you can just look up the different demographics. You can see the age, how the gender breakout, things like that. You can see what people have, like what they like to do. So if you look at different counties' websites, they always have like, hey, this is what's going on in this city or this county. We have this festival, we have this, we have that. And they'll give you an idea of what things that they're into. And that kind of shaped like, oh, okay, well, people here, they like to be more outdoorsy. Okay, in the Pacific Northwest, we know they like to hike, even though it's raining and all that crazy stuff. So you get stuff that will be conducive to what they want. Where if you're doing stuff in the desert, well, people who want to live in the desert, in my experience, it's not that they don't like outdoorsy things, but not only in the desert, but it's like people want to be isolated. They want to be by themselves. They like that hard life. So then you get something that will allow them to do that, but it won't make it impossible for them to like have some type of modern conveniences. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so Gene can't go to the local Piggly Wiggly and pick up a soda pop.
Yeah, if you want to be in the desert, Gene, you gotta get rid of the soda pop addiction. Sorry.
I do not want to be in the desert. I want to be somewhere where I can get my Starbucks in the morning. Otherwise, I get cranky.
God, no.
Yeah. Got it.
Kind of like today.
No, today is. I had my Starbucks today. I just had a long night last night. As far as buyers go, right? So it sounded to me like when you were talking about, the first thing I thought about was like wholesaling or flipping a contract, right? Is that pretty much what you're doing? And if that's the case, or even if it's not, explain it to me. Who are your buyers? Are these developers? Are these individuals that are building a house on it? Like, tell me what that looks like.
It's both. I don't flip contracts. I don't wholesale. A lot of places actually legislation against it.
Okay.
So I kind of stay away from that. And truth be told, a lot of wholesalers who are jumping into the game, they don't really know the game, so they're messing it up for everybody. So that's a different conversation.
Wait, walk us down that path a little bit, because everybody wants to be a wholesaler right now.
Oh, yeah, because it's free.
Why are they messing it up?
It's like saying, hey, I want to make a lot of money, but I don't want to have any risk, responsibility, or work.
Right.
Of course. Who doesn't?
Money invested, right?
Yeah.
Right.
No skin. Yeah.
No skin in the game. And so the reason why I say they're messing up for everybody is because they'll use a lot of the same strategies to contact these different owners that land investors do, that other real estate investors will do, but they'll kind of muddy the waters a little bit. And they will promise things to people, both on the buy and sell side, that aren't necessarily true. And it's not necessarily, I don't think people are doing it maliciously, at least I hope not. It's just out of from my experience, a place of just not knowing, right? Just a place of a little bit of ignorance, and when you're first getting something, it makes sense. Of course, you're not going to know everything when you first get started. But with that said, when deals go bad, or you have a seller or a buyer on the hook for 30, 60, 90 days and things aren't moving, that frustration boils over. So when someone like me who comes who actually has money to buy right now, I'm not looking for somebody else, then it's like, well, I don't trust you. And then it's like, well, I got all these other offers. Why is your offer so low? And I'm trying to you got to think about what's going on. I'm an investor, the actual value of the property. I'm taking the risk, all of these things. It doesn't matter if a wholesaler is promising them the world and I'm bringing that cold water of reality, it messes things up, because now that poor owner doesn't realize that, hey, you don't have a gold mine. There is no oil under your land.
Right.
You're not going to trip over a diamond on that property. You haven't even seen it. You don't even know what's going on. But because you got all these offers, you're thinking something big is happening. No, it's not. At least not yet. Unless someone like me tries to make something happen, but that never happens. Right. So that's the whole thing about wholesalers. I forgot your other question because I went on that rant. Sorry.
No, that's all good. We were talking about buyers, like who the buyers are.
Got it. And I said they're both. So for the cheaper lots, in my experience, it's been like your average people who want either a space to get away from it all, depending on the size. Maybe they want a place to ride their ATV, shoot their guns, build a cabin, park their RV, something. It's personal use. As you get bigger or you get something more lucrative, then you'll still have those buyers, but most likely it'll be somebody who isn't another investor. So they're going to develop it a little further. They're going to do something with it, or as part of something else. So it just depends. It just depends on the lot, the location. But yeah, both. I talked to both.
So this brings up a question for me, right? So I used to wholesale back in the day, properties, not land, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that was along with, I say wholesale because in a lot of those cases, we would be up against our budget because we'd have 4 houses that we were flipping or rehab and whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
But what made it nice about where I was doing that is we were in a network of other people that were so it was like the 3 of us. And I go, look, I got this contract. I know Victor's interested in it. I know he's going to satisfy the contract. So even if it's only paper and it's an end or signs on my case, I can assign it to you. The deal's not going to fall through, right? We had a really good network.
Mm-hmm.
So Victor gets a piece of land, right? And the next part of it is letting everybody know. So whether it be marketing or networks you've built, what does that look like when you have something new to sell, and how do you get it to the world?
That's a great question. I got two avenues. I have the online method and offline method. The offline method is a little bit more old school, but they're still effective. An online method. So obviously, I list them on your favorite real estate platforms, the Zillows, the Redfins, all that. I also use Facebook Marketplace, even though I have mixed feelings about Facebook Marketplace. And I'll explain why in a moment. Craigslist is okay, depending on the area. But the big one is landwatch.com because
I love Landwatch.
That's the big one. Like, yes, you got to pay for it, but the leads that come in are top notch. You get great analytics. You also get a lot of, what's the word I'm thinking about? You can look up comps. So even before, when you're doing your research, it's like, hey, should I buy this and what price should I pay? You can use Landwatch for comps. So those are my favorite ones, right? And then I guess this also dovetails from whatever offline methods, which is like sending neighbor letters. So anybody who has property within that same area, I'll send them a letter. If the property is adjacent to the one I'm buying or I've purchased already, then I'll actually send them a photo, a screenshot of, here's your property, here's my property. You can have them both. Look how you can double your acreage or whatever it is. And I do it for anybody who has adjacent property anywhere. They'll get a specialized letter in a big envelope, so they'll make sure they see it. And like, hey, I'm selling it for a good price. I'll give you the right of first refusal. Before I put it on the market, I'll let you know if you want it, because you don't know who's going to buy it and what they're going to do with it. They might junk it up. So then that also helps. But either way, whether I get the lead offline or online, I send them through a bit of a sales funnel, not to get too fancy or nothing. And I don't, because it's unnecessary in this business. But people, when I get their numbers, I got a follow-up sequence I like to do with them. I like to keep track of where they are in their buyer's journey. So people who are just kind of somewhat interested, I'll give them the information they need, but I won't follow up as hard as someone's like, hey, I'm going to go see the property in a day or two. I will make sure they see the property, get their impressions of it, all this and all that. If they need me to call the county, I might do it depending on, what questions they have and stuff like that. But the point is, once I get them in that little funnel and I'm following up with them, eventually someone buys, and it was like, hey, would you take this for it? Or could we do like an owner financing thing? And depending on the property and the other interests, I'll just kind of dictate how I handle that.
The thing is that I literally just logged on to Landwatch. I have not been on there in a long time.
Yeah.
And I just found for 1.75 million, I got 142 acres in San Diego with a 5-bed, 5-bath, 3,500 square foot home. That is an amazing find. Now, using Landwatch, right? Mm-hmm. Now you're out there, you talk to the listing agent, and then you get the permission to market this thing to get more visibility on it. Does that help you at all in your business, or is that more for residential resale to get more visibility on their properties they're selling, to kind of puff them up a little bit?
I guess it depends on the property. So like if I'm selling a lower end property, I just sell on my own, for sale by owner. Okay. For higher end properties, then you will like enlist the help of a real estate agent or a land broker, because not necessarily just to market it. Because I found a lot of real estate agents, they don't put a lot of effort into selling land because honestly, they just don't know how to. They don't know, and the commissions, depending on the property, may not be as high as selling that house, not too far away. So, the effort is kind of like, but the ones who are good at land, mm-hmm. You tell them, and they have their own networks, they have their own buyers, and a lot of people who buy land, they tend to buy repeatedly. So like in one area, I sell all of my parcels in one subdivision to one guy, and I've literally made over $100,000 selling nickel and dime properties for him. Right?
That's awesome.
For cheap. Yeah, it's been great, and like I don't have to market it. I'm like, hey, I got another one. You want it? He'll take a look. Yep, boom, done. And now we do a lot of double closing together. So nice. I don't got to invest my own money. I just take his, pay the owner, transfer the property, goes through my name, then it goes to their name, and we're good.
But I mean, it sounds very simple, Victor, the way you say this. But I mean, there's a lot of moving parts involved. I mean, you have to have attorneys, you have to have title companies. I mean, you have to people understand how to do land transitions, clearing titles. I mean, there's a lot of stuff taking place there. Is there a story that when you first got started that may kind of resonate with you a little bit, and we're like, gosh, dang it, I kind of screwed the pooch, or gosh, dang it, that was an amazing opportunity I took advantage of? Is there a story that you can share with folks when you were a newbie getting into this, because a lot of folks, we want the shiny object. We want the opportunity that we can diversify away from doing open houses on every stinking Sunday, right? Taking away from our family and our friends and our our lives with our dogs, our cats, our goldfish. Tell us what you want to talk about right here.
All right. So first off, land, I explained it simple because it is simple. Like, when you are dealing with property, it's not like you have anything to inspect.
True.
It's just a lump of dirt. And the county has lines where, like, okay, this is the property area, right? So it's not much to see besides, like, hey, is this a good investment? Will somebody else want it? Or can I use it for whatever I want to use it for? So it is simple. When it comes to the title search, on the lower end properties, I do those myself. And all the records. Really? Yeah, because you'll notice a lot of land doesn't necessarily change hands that much. And most counties, not all, but most, you can easily look up the title chain in the recorder's online search.
You can,
yeah. And I can just kind of go back as far as I need to. And it's pretty simple. Now, yeah, with the more expensive property or whatever, I'll let a title company do that. But it's a pretty quick process because, again, there's no inspections. You know, like anybody has to go out there. It's just making sure that the chain is clear, or if anything needs to be cleared up, that gets done and done properly. And a lot of times, depending on the state, you can do that on your own. So it is pretty simple. It's basically, if the chain is clear and I don't see any liens on it, which, will come up in the title search, and the back taxes isn't too crazy, is it more than what it's worth or whatever, I'll buy it. It's simple, right? That's why I can do this on my own. But with that said, like, because it's so simple, it does lend itself to giving you that free time. Because, again, as I said it 4 times already, there's nothing to inspect. It's just dirt, and you're just pushing paper. And as long as you have an eye for detail, as you're doing your due diligence, and again, the most of your due diligence is just, is this a good investment? Not is the title busted or cloudy or whatever.
Right.
Then it's going to be fine. So, yeah. Sorry to burst the bubble. It is pretty simple.
No, wait. Hold, but you just brought something up that, shit. I mean, you just created 3 questions for me, right? So no, seriously, because I like this stuff. So first, when I look at this stuff, like when I closed the thing down. Hold on, let me do it. Was it Land Watch?
Land Watch
came right up. Okay. So, like, let's say I always love looking at this stuff and thinking about where I'm going to build the house that overlooks the water, right? So you buy a piece of land, it's on the corner of some little barrier island, and you put some boxes on it, right? So, like, for example, this one here, 4 acres in Roaring River, North Carolina, right? 17,900 waterfront property is best. 4 acres with a rushing mountain creek in the heart of the foothills. Do I, like, if my aspiration is to build a cabin, is there stuff I got to look at as far as it being a buildable space? Like, how do I know I'm not putting a box on a marsh that's going to sink? Like, how do I do that sight unseen? Does this stuff does all the stuff you buy always have to be buildable? And if not, what are you using it for?
Well, I like it to be buildable, but it doesn't always work out that way. Like, I have a property now in Texas that technically is buildable, but getting water to it is going to be more expensive than the area would allow. But it doesn't matter. Now, what do I look for? Is I just call the county. I'm like, hey, looking at parcel number 12345. What can I do with this? Can I build on this? Oh, yeah, all you got to do is submit this form to this person or this county or this official and do that. And there's a review, and then, have it done by a certified X, Y, and Z, and that's good. And that's all I need. Like, yep. I'm like, all right, good enough for me. Because I'm not going to be building it. I'm not going to go through that process of what that's about. Now, if that property you're talking about is in an HOA, then there's another layer to go through. Okay, what does the HOA allow? Some HOAs aren't as restrictive as the ones we hear about on TV, but they will still say, hey, it's got to be a minimum size. It's got to be this far back from the road.
Yeah.
Things like that. But those are the different rules and restrictions you'll bring to your licensed architect or whoever that you're going to have help you plan out the build, and they'll let you know. So what I'll often do is tell people, if they're serious about building, truth be told, a lot of people, they plan to build, but they don't. The same reason why the property is still vacant, even though it was subdivided 50, 60 years ago. Right. Human nature, it doesn't change. But I'll say, hey, just do your due diligence. Here are the numbers you should call, that if you're going to build, you should check in with them with like how the process works and whatever your design is going to be, or who you should be talking to when you are ready to build, because you may not be ready to build right away. And I put the onus on them. And going back to your original part of the question, does it have to be buildable? No, because the same way somebody may buy something that is buildable, they may not build on it. They may just hold it, whether it's laziness, whether it's like, I don't feel like doing this anymore. Or some people just buy land like jewelry. I just want to have all the property that I can get because I hear they're not making any more land. And from what I can tell is true, except for like in Hawaii where the lava flows and makes
the
yeah,
Arab Emirates, right?
Right. Exactly. But here in the contiguous 48, they ain't making any more. So some people just buy it for, like, hey, who knows what's going to happen to the area in the future? This is cheap enough for me to buy and not worry about it. Property tax is like $30 a year. That's why it doesn't matter if you can build on it or not. If it's priced properly, you advertise it enough eyeballs see it, somebody's going to buy it. Land sells everywhere.
So you bring me right to my next point. It was a perfect segue. Is like, for me, I like collecting things that I can forget about. So you have a little bit of cash. I buy some, altcoins, not, some Ethereum, some Bitcoin. You take it offline, throw it in a safe. My teenage girls, hopefully in 40 years, plug it into their computer after I'm dead. They go, oh my God, it's worth a ton of money, right? Is the stuff like land acquisition? Is that stuff that you would recommend buying and holding for later because it appreciates in value? And to that point, are you doing that yourself? And if you are, why? Like, why did you pick plot A to keep and hold as opposed to, saying, yeah, I'm going to call somebody and flip it over?
Right. It's a good question. It's funny how you mentioned the Bitcoin and the cryptocurrency stuff. A lot of people in that space are actually buying land to convert their cryptocurrency. They call it land banking. So their money's a little bit stable. So one of the reasons why, some people just buy it and just hold it. Personally, I'm not doing that. Not yet. I will do it. Why am I not doing that? Well, in 2019, I stopped land investing. It's an interesting story. But during that time, I also quit my job as a software engineer, and I racked up a ton of debt. So I'm just doing what I can to, service that debt, pay my mortgage, make sure I'm a good father, make sure we can eat, things like that. So yeah, at some point I will look to do that. But personally, like, I like the whole flipping process. That's my thing. Or buy it, add some value to the property, and then sell it to somebody that's going to use it like for its like true purposes. And when I say add value, subdivide it, maybe one day put a house on it, a tiny home, mobile home, whatever it is, and then have some be for something else. So that's my personal thing. It's just kind of how I roll. But I do see myself buying something just to hold for my future generations. And hell, if everything goes bad, at least I won't be homeless. I got a place to go, little square in the desert.
Yeah, right. A little square that might be hot with no.
Might be hot, but hey, this is my property, right? So
and then,
I can do that.
And then another one here that I got too is like, so, and this is kind of out of order. This is just something I thought about earlier. When you talk to people, and you said it multiple times, like you've never even visited the property, right? You owe back taxes. Where do you find that these folks are actually getting these pieces of land from? Are they inherited? Are they buying them years ago? Are their father? Like most of your calls that are made, where do these people actually get the land from to start with?
Yes.
All of it?
All of it.
Extremely
common. Extremely common. All of it. Inheritances are good ones because, again, like, my grandfather passed away. He owns some property in Indiana. I live in Connecticut. I've never been to Indiana. I have no plans of going to Indiana. I don't want this. Now I'm paying taxes on something I've never seen, never cared about, have no attachment to, and I won't use. Please get this off my hands. Right. Not to mention, since he passed away without a will, we don't know what to do. Like, don't worry, I know what to do. I will help you with that situation, right? Okay. And you know, and because of that, boom, you get it for cheap. But yes. That. All those things you said, they all happened.
All of those. He said, yes, all of those.
Yes, he did, actually.
Yeah, that was good. I mean, I like it. I love this whole thing. To me, it seems like it's, like you said, it's simple, right? There's no, I don't got to go and inspect the septic. There's none of the, like you just buy a piece of land, man. It's not much to it. Yeah. I love it. I love that. Got me thinking about maybe taking. Well, it's not. I can't do it now because all my currency's down, right? So I don't want to sell that stuff off. But maybe doing some land banking. I kind of like that idea.
Yeah. Well,
Actually,
I mean, land right now is good because it's always good, no matter what the recession is or isn't. Economy, it's land.
So let me ask you this, Victor, really quick. I mean, one of the things I've always thought about when it comes to land banking is going up into the foothills or going up near like Shasta or something up in the God's country,
Mhm.
and buying a piece of property where there's mining rights, logging rights, water rights, and then you can build the house out there so you can actually use it as a secondary home. You gotta bring like bear shot with you out there because good God, those fuckers are huge. But I mean, what if you can buy a round number, 1,000 acres, right?
Mhm.
And then you can let people log it and then let people come in and search for gold off of it. You get a portion of both sides that will offset your monthly nut on that acquisition. Is that something that you've looked into? Is that something that's completely poo-pooed? I mean, help me understand that because I've always been excited about that when it comes to land banking.
Well, that's the thing about land. Like, because you own the property, you have so many options and you have a lot of flexibility. Another reason why I like that over wholesaling, because you don't get this flexibility wholesaling. But what you described is one of the creative ways that people will add value to the property. Maybe not for another person, but you're creating value for yourself.
Right.
So yeah, to keep it real with you, I don't think there is any idea that people would poo-poo in this industry. Like if it's making money, they're gonna be like, oh, I wonder how I can do that.
Yeah.
Like I was talking about the double closing earlier.
Yeah.
And that wasn't something that I just came up with. Obviously, I mean, every real estate industry have it, but now I'm exclusively looking for opportunities to double close. And
Okay,
that's
so
because I learned
describe
from
a
other
double
lenders.
close. Describe a double close for everybody who does not know what that
Right.
means.
So double close is just two closing, meaning that it's two transactions in one.
So
I'm purchasing.
you're buying something and then Gene owns it, right?
Right. Gene owns it. Right. But I talked to you, Greg. I'm like, hey, I got a line on some property. It's over in the foothills. It's this size, it's whatever. Do you want it? I'll sell it to you for $40,000.
$2, whatever.
Right. You're like, yeah, I'll take it for $2. I'm like, great. So I'm like, hey, Gene, yeah, I still want the property, but I can only pay you $1. And here's why. Right. There's no survey on it. There's no water to it. Getting power be expensive. And you're like, I don't care. Just take it. I'm like, great. So what we'll do is we can do it with or without a title company. But if you do it with the title company, like, hey, look, I'm buying it and I'm selling it to Gene or Greg right away, and they'll take care of it, right? You do the paperwork as if you're buying it and selling it. But I can also do it the way that without the title company, where I just take, hey, Greg, pay me for the property now, get ready to go use it. I'll pay Gene his portion. I'll keep my portion. Gene will sign the deed, give it to me. I will sign a new deed, send them both to the county at the same time and say, hey, county, record Gene's deed first. So that property goes to me. And then for that 2 seconds or 3 seconds, it's recorded. And then recording Greg's deed that gives it to him. I'm the owner. And then Greg has it. Now it's his property.
Yeah, I
Done.
love that.
Double
I
close.
love that.
Again, I don't use none of my own money, but I have the flexibility as if I did have it.
So let me ask you this. We're going to wrap here in a second because you've dropped so much knowledge on this. I don't want the audience to get snowblind in regards to like, what the fuck did he just say? Did he just talk about land acquisition and how I can do double closings and blah, 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 blah? Guys, go back and gals, go back and listen to this. I'm 100%. Victor, what I really want from you, and guys, we're going to have him back on again because we're going to build out real life scenarios with him next time about what he's done so you can really see the numbers. By the way, I made that up, Victor, if you're cool with that. I'm totally
No,
cool
that
with
sounds good. That sounds good because I can show you
Okay.
both sides of the coin.
Okay, good. Because I kind of put the cart before the horse on that one. But we're having him back on. Victor, give us 3 simple takeaways for folks if they're interested in land banking, or just kind of getting out of putting the Sharganoogle sign in front of the house. We can do other investments using other people's money to buy property. Then you can resell it, do double closes. Walk us through that a little bit in 3 great bullet points.
Okay, I don't know how I can put that in 3 bullet points.
Okay, 5, 10, whatever it's going to be.
All right. So if we're looking to use other people's money, we have more options besides double closing. we got something out there called land funders who understand this land business and see how lucrative it is. But they don't want to go through the process of finding the people who are willing to sell at the price that we like, or all that. They just want to put the money in and get their return. And depending on who you talk to would dictate those terms. Some people will be like, hey, as long as I get 20% of the profits, I'm good. So they'll get there, whatever they invested plus 20% of that. It just depends. It's two individuals. Whatever you guys work out is what you work out. So there's that.
Land funders. Okay. Number one. Number two.
Note buyers. So note buyers are in other industries, but they're starting to get wind of what the land business is and how great those terms are. So for example, the typical note buyer is happy to get a note that's going to give them an 8% return.
Mm-hmm.
When I'm like a land person, I'm like, I can give you 20%. They're like wetting their pants, like 20%. I'm like, yeah. And the beautiful thing is, to set up that note, I would have already had to have gotten a down payment. So I've already made money on the deal, depending on how much I bought for and what the purchase price is.
And that down payment is a hard money. It goes right into your pocket. No ifs, ands, or buts are at it.
Right. It's mine. Right? Like, give me the money. And then if I sell that note to a note buyer, they will pay me a lump sum. So now they're on the hook and they get those monthly payments in. So not only do I have that down payment, but I got their lump sum. But then, so I win, but they win as well, because again, they're getting 20% or whatever the terms is that you guys agreed upon. So, right, again, even if you give them 15%, they'll be excited for that because it's more than 8. That's what they're used to. Now, some of them getting wise, they want 20, 30%. And I'm like, that's fine, whatever. It doesn't really matter. But, that's another option that you can do for if you don't want to use I guess that doesn't talk about the acquisition. That's just more of a way to make more money on the deal.
But what you just said right there was humongous. I love that, because I've been dealing with note buyers for a long time on residential resale. But if you get note buyers that will come in and they'll put they'll buy in at 20%, right? They want a 20% return on their money, but they're going to fund you $1 to $20 million to buy XY property that has blah 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 yakety schmack opportunities for return on a monthly, yearly, annual return. Dude, you just acquired 1,000 acres at a zero cost basis, essentially. And as long as the business runs the way quarterly, yearly, whatever it's going to be, right? I mean, I'm obviously not into the game, you are. But I mean, it sounds like it's a great deal if you find the right financier. Is that correct?
Right. Absolutely. Hell, you can do it with your friends and family. Have them all just chip in and do the same thing.
Oh, hell no.
You can. I don't know. I mean, I've done it. Like me and my wife went in on a property that we're selling now. We're both looking to make a good amount of money. It's not nothing crazy. She put in $15K for it. She'll get $18K back, and I'll get the rest. I'm planning to sell for about $60,000 or $70,000, something like that.
That's great.
Yeah, no, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. It just takes time, depending on the property and the location, all that. But it'll happen usually within 3 to 6 months. It just takes time.
Let me ask you this really quickly. When it comes to folks that are going to be dipping the pinky into the pond in regards to Land Act, are they more investors, or are they more like they're going to move into the house on the property, live in it, and execute the process of facilitating the return back to the investor based upon whatever the land can produce?
As in, like, somebody who's looking to do what I do, or someone I'm dealing with as I sell or buy?
So an example, my parents just bought a big old house and 10 acres, not a lot of land, but 10 acres for them up in Grass Valley. And now they bought chickens, they bought sheep, they bought cows, and that's a producing asset. So if you could do it on a larger scale, you go from 10 to maybe 200 acres, 500 acres, 1,000 acres. You have sheep, you have cattle. You can contract that out to different farmers and cattle ranchers around the area. Then you can bring in logging. Then you can bring in maybe mining into that land, and then you can get a profit off of it. That's where your investors are going to get their 20% return. Am I accurate on that, or am I completely off the reservation?
It's just one of many opportunities that are out there. Like something like that will get a lot of people excited, right? You have to show them the numbers and say, hey, this can work. But for most people, it's just we're going to buy it, we're going to sell it. We're going to buy it for cheap, we're going to sell it for its actual value.
Turn and burn.
That's enough for most people to salivate.
Okay, I like that. So that's the big thing. Turn and burn, ladies and gentlemen. Gene, thoughts and theories on this? I want to pick Victor's brain for like a billion hours because I really am interested in this, and that's not a joke. I love this concept. Gene, your thoughts and theories?
No, I got them all out. I had a bunch of those questions. It's super intriguing for as simple as the process is. Yeah, I
Are
think
you
it's all
calling Victor simple?
the strategy.
I am simple in many ways. I am simple in many ways.
I would never do that, Victor, aka Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah,
I'm
owner of
literally going to
Bitmo.
murder you. So Gene, takeaways on this real quick, and then we're gonna go back to Victor. Victor, then you have a very important part of the show at the end, so stay tuned for this one. Gene, final thoughts on this one.
Very important.
Shut up,
No, we don't
please.
do enough of this. We don't do enough of this. We've done maybe one other show probably about land ac. Yeah, I don't know. There's something there. I haven't put my finger on it yet. Obviously, there's something there because he's making a killing out of it. I like it. I like the idea. In my head, I think about when I can say to my kids, "Your dad owns land in all the states, right?" Like
Mhm.
that's just kind of. I feel like isn't that how they make you a lord in Scotland or something? You have to have a piece of land somewhere, and you become a lord.
Is
Yeah.
that how that
So
works?
Yeah,
get
they're even selling foot, like you get like a foot of land,
yeah.
and because of that, you can become a lord, and it's like a Christmas gift. Like,
Yeah, they send you
Seriously?
like paperwork or something, right?
yep,
Yeah.
it's literally
I
1 square foot. That's
I
all you
want to
need.
be my own
That's
lord of
all
the
you have to own
lower
is
48.
1
Mhm.
square foot
Yeah.
in multiple different areas, and not
No,
No,
even
just
one
one
one.
area. One
Just
area.
1 square foot. Just one.
I own more than 1 square foot. Why am I not a
No,
lord?
Not
in
in
Scotland.
Scotland.
Oh, fuck! I gotta buy shit in Stockholm.
Yeah, you
in
should, Lord
There's a company
McDaniel.
that does this now, so you just go through them and they'll take care of it. Then you'll get a little certificate saying that you're a lord.
Gene, you're gonna have to refer to me as Lord McDaniel.
I would love nothing
Welcome
more.
to
I
the
would
show.
love nothing more.
I'm actually going to do that. Victor, you don't have to talk offline about this. I'm not kidding one bit about that. All right. So let's do this. Victor, give everybody and anybody who's listening to this show right now, in the past and in the future, where can they get a hold of you, who you are, where you're from, what services you provide, what products you have that they could buy in and get started with Land Act. So the stage is yours, my friend.
Appreciate it. So I obviously coach and mentor this. I also coach basketball, but we'll keep it to land. And my mentorship is a little bit different than what's out there because most people will give you a bunch of videos and like, all right, goodbye and good luck. That's not how I operate. I want to make sure people learn the business. So I kind of walk them through their first deal. And most people do want to start with a smaller deal so they don't feel that risk. Like, oh, I only want to invest $1,000, $2,000, 5,000, whatever. I'm like, great, we'll find something in your price range. We'll invest it. And then typically they'll take that 1,000, 2,000, 5,000, triple it, quadruple it, whatever it is. And then watch, rinse, repeat. So you can find me at a couple ways. You can find my name on social media, Victor D. Reynolds, especially on Instagram. I post a lot of little minute snippets, videos about land investing. You can join my Facebook group, Land Investing for Professional Millennials. It's a mouthful, but you'll find it. You'll look me up. You'll see me. I'm on there.
Fingers up. I love it.
Yeah, you don't have to be a millennial. I just did that just because I'm a millennial, so use that. And then if you're looking to get any type of mentorship, my website as well, Land Investing for Millennials. Hit me up. I will be glad to walk you through the steps. Like, hey, whatever your goals are, how can I help you achieve those goals with land investing? So yeah, you'll find me again. I have a YouTube channel again, Victor D. Reynolds. I just put all of my live streams. I do a weekly live stream in my group, put it on my YouTube. So I'm trying to be out there a little bit more so more people can learn about this because it's a powerful thing where you can do a couple of flips and be done with it, make your money and leave, or you can make it a lifestyle thing like I do and work a couple of hours a day and be done.
I love it. That's the cool thing. Once you start thinking outside the box in regards to real estate and you really say, oh my gosh, like here's an opportunity here, here's an opportunity there. Why do I have to have an open sign? Why do I have to have my face on shopping carts? Why can't you just be a ghost and make a fuck ton of cash and just go about and be who you are? Like Victor, what you're saying, like you work a couple hours a day, whatever that number means to you. And then you
Literally about 1 or 2 hours and I'm done.
Yeah, and he's done. Ladies and gentlemen, think about that. Everyone's like, "Oh my god, I worked like 17 hours today." And you're like, "Yeah, you're a fucking chump."
Yeah, why would you do
I
that?
worked an hour or two, and I make way more money than you. So, and yeah, God bless. Bye bye. Why wouldn't you want to learn about this? Okay, guys and gals, step into the realm and just think outside the box. Land is incredible. My family's owned tens of thousands of acres around California. And the last property, big property we sold, the family property sold, I think it was about $80 million. Now, I didn't really get a lot of money from that, or actually any, but it's not my take, right? It's the family, right? But I mean, all those strawberries, those giant organic strawberries you get with chocolate on them during Valentine's Day, they're coming from our family's land. So
Nice.
it's a legacy opportunity here. So Victor, you gave a great opportunity here for people to reach out to you. Some amazing knowledge. I've written down a page full of notes. That's not a joke. I know Gene has done too. And I just want people to reach out to you. Gene, you are the baldest of the bald, and you are the ninja, the evil bald ninja. How do people reach out to the evil bald ninja?
Hiya! You don't.
Victor's dying, by the way, if you guys can't see him right now.
You don't get in touch with me. That's it.
Well, the mysterious ninja. I get it. You have to stay, in the shadows. That makes sense.
Well, he's the worst marketer on earth. He's like, never reach out to me. I'm like,
don't do it.
Damn it.
Don't do it.
That makes me want to reach out to him even more.
Some people do. Some people do
sexy.
because of that. Yeah. It's this is what we call the old takeaway sale.
Absolutely.
You can't hire me. All right, see ya.
Like, oh,
And
yeah.
like, can I please be a client? And you're like, okay.
You gotta have drinks first.
In the background, you're like, fuck yes, another sale. All right, this is good shit. All right. Oh, I love this stuff. Victor, you're amazing. You give all the data points I wanted. Gene, well, you're just Gene. I love you to pieces. Wow. Guys, we're gonna put a bow on the show. So Victor, this is your big moment. I need a color for the bow on the show. What
red.
Color would you want to put on it? Red?
Big
red. All right. Gene, color on the bow on the show.
It's getting to be Christmas time. Let's do green with it.
Green.
Red
like
and green.
dollar bills. All right. And like green grasslands where you can buy with Victor.
I like that.
Mm-hmm. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching the show. Reach out to Victor Reynolds, not Ryan Reynolds, Victor Reynolds, and he's going to be able to help you with land acquisitions and all kinds of incredible stuff you're going to be able to do. I looked at a lot of properties on these different sites he already gave us on the show. Go back and watch and relist it. Not list it, because that would be just properties, but listen to the show again. I really enjoy this. Victor, seriously, I really enjoyed it. That was incredible information. I know that's the pinky nail of your baby finger on the information. So go hit him up, follow him, hashtag him in any kind of comments you have on the show. Gene Volpe, my evil bald ninja, my ride or die homie, the guy I trust with my life. Whenever I come to Philly, if I do not get the best Philly cheesesteak, I will murder you with a spoon. Okay. But we love you to pieces. We're in the holiday season. I love you both. Have a great day. Until next time, peace out, ninjas. We have a red and green bow on this show. Peace. Bye.